What's good, y'all? It's Clyde, aka our trainer Zadell, and right now I'm going to be discussing the reason why we actually have to have a war for one of the first times ever, actually, because at least of this magnitude, because it's one of the greatest times of conflict in our world, actually, because the reason we're actually fighting as humans is not human influence. It's actually influence from another planet like Saturn that we've actually found recently, called Black Saturn or whatever. They call it double Saturn, double ring Saturn, whatever. But it's like a Black Saturn. Like if you literally see it, it literally looks black most of the time. But there was a point where it actually turned into a star, and our world went completely black, and everybody thought they went blind, if everybody can remember that. So that was a flip point in a conjoinment of our two worlds, and their world actually burned up and died, and our world actually gained an overlapping spiritual world of antimatter. So basically that was the birth of the antimatter soul or spirit. But the thing is about an antimatter spirit, they're literally coded the opposite of a earthling soul. So that would mean that they would literally rather drink blood than water. You know what I'm saying? They literally hate water itself. You know what I'm saying? They would literally would rather kill somebody with water if they could than actually drink it for hydration. But that's just the way they're coded in their spirit because of the way that we are, because this literally comes from us just being ourselves. So it's nothing to blame on anybody, but it's just something we have to deal with. So in saying that, everybody in the world literally needs to know this information. And the thing is, a lot of people don't know this information because they're not on the correct spiritual path. Whatever you want to label it as, the best thing to do right now is to get rid of every single label. You need to pay attention to the silence under everything you hear. And you need to know that no thing exists more so than anything could ever exist. So, I'm saying all this to say the real threat is nobody that is a human. If you see a physical body that looks human, you would know the difference between looking at somebody being human and not actually human, especially by the way they move, talk, the words they would use. They wouldn't even be speaking what would feel like a real language, and it wouldn't even sound like symbols that we would be able to say. It sounds like they could literally speak with different organs than our vocal cords actually are. That's the only way I can describe the things that I've heard them say. So basically, the thing is behind this antimatter spirit that's been birthed in the physical now is that it activates fully once the sun completely flips 180 degrees away from your geographical location. So once the moon is fully in the sky, that's when the antimatter portal is fully open and they can manifest literally anywhere. They can literally manifest in your body if they want to. So that's the thing I'm trying to get to. The only reason we're still killing each other and have any problems right now is literally because of the antimatter spirit taking hold of our physical body through our thoughts and feelings, pushing it through to our hearts and feelings, which control our bodies, and it's allowing that to be the center of our focus. So the reason that would happen is because you literally align with the frequency. Okay, I'm going to explain this better than just saying frequency, because that's kind of like a buzzword. So you align with the actions of doing something that is essentially not for the best good of yourself, and it will feel less than, it will feel out of character. So the best thing to know right now is to completely be yourself. No matter what you feel like doing, just fucking do it. Because like, none of this shit matters, bro. None of this shit matters. Just know we live on no matter what anybody says or does. So nothing can change the life that we are. You know what I'm saying? You can't change what you are. Shit can just happen to you. So that's just what it is. So I'll give an example of what happened last night, because I had a good experience last night of how to handle when these things happen. So what you want to do is focus on the space. People don't focus on the space. They only focus on what they can see. You got to focus on what you don't see. It's literally a flip in the focus of your perception, what you're observing. So when you focus on what you don't see, that allows you to see everything and know what is, no matter what is happening. You can see through it no matter what the manipulation or the trick is to trying to get you to do something out of character. Like how the Uvalde shooter, Salvador Ramos, shot up that school and killed all those people. That was literally an influence from the antimatter spirit that took hold of him overnight in a dream. He woke up one day, literally walked to the gun store. He said a word the gun owner didn't know. He just gave him whatever he wanted, like it was the Jedi mind trick. And you know, if you were involved in the situation, you would know this 100%. But they didn't tell y'all this completely, because it was literally a supernatural situation, and they felt like it would have sent the world into turmoil and made everybody just want to blow their head off with the nearest gun. So what was happening was he was getting bullied. So he became in such a sunken state that he started doing the same thing every day, because that's what they teach us constantly, is to do the same thing every day. You know what I'm saying? You need a schedule. So when we had schedule, we beat in our minds that things have to be a certain way. And that's never the case. That's one of the things that is always true. Things are never always the same. And some people may say that's vague or doesn't make sense, but it's literally the truth we need to know right now. Basically, everywhere is a new place. So he had a dream that he was getting chased by somebody he felt like was Freddy Krueger on steroids. So my ancestors came to me in my sleep, and I was able to go into a deep sleep state, and I was able to astral travel and lucid dream to unite with his dream and to help him get out of the dream. But when he actually got out of the dream, I couldn't stay in that geographical location to actually help him not align with that spirit and remember what I told him in the dream. That was the only way I could communicate with him at the time, because I couldn't get there physically. And when those things happened, we basically lost connection, because it was a flip in him, because essentially in the dream he had given up his will to live. Because that's why I was called to the dream, because he had given up his will to live, and we actually needed him to make this pivotal point so we could have this switch in our focus and in our evolution. So the best thing for us, I gotta turn around, yo. So the best thing for us right now is to just heed every truth that we know and feel. No matter what it is, we need to know it and feel it as it is. You can't sugarcoat it at all. So when we lost connection, he aligned with the antimatter spirit because it had been guiding him for so long because of all of his trauma and all the people around him who did the same thing every day. He had people who called him the same nicknames at the same times every day, because he literally would ask them, can you come up with a new nickname? And they would say later, and they would commit to it so much, they would literally figure out some new messed up name that damn near brought him to tears every hour, you know what I'm saying, to text him. So you look at his phone, have 20 new text messages, be in 13 group chats, you know what I'm saying, he didn't know what to do. So with all that on him and that emotional stress, he was led to try to follow what the mental hospital told him to do, and to have a routine every day to make some comfortability. And the thing is, just like Lil Wayne said, you don't want to get too comfortable. So why don't you want to get too comfortable? Because when you get too comfortable, you make mistakes. We all know that. When we've been put under pressure, if we were comfortable, we made mistakes. So Salvador Ramos, he was led to be under possession of the antimatter spirit. And the thing is, with the antimatter spirit, it's birthed physical bodies, and it's not like us where we have individual will. It has one will, but many bodies. We have many wills and one body. So, and this whole world is our body, and it's in our body. So literally, God is possessed. It's the way to look at it. That would be the way to say it in, like, you know, the religious terms. God is possessed. But that's like, we have to let that go and let go of the term God, because literally the term God is something that is literally coded in your mind to say worship this or die. And that's not the truth. So, so he started doing the same thing every day, and then it came to the point where the antimatter spirit knew he was predictable, and then when he became predictable, it was able to manifest at will in his mind, and he became it because he thought it was his mind, because it would literally push thoughts so far deep into his mind and manifest them eventually into his feelings off of his actions, because he was following his mind so much. Because everybody wants to say, free your mind, yada, yada. But really, we need to focus on the feelings and what we feel. People don't talk about feel it out. You know, feel everything. Like, you know, touch things with your heart. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to touch things with your hand. I'm touching you right now with my heart. You know what I'm saying? So, he became predictable, aligned with the antimatter spirit. He felt so out of place, and he just felt like it was his place to feel out of place, and it wasn't, because he was human. You know, if you have a physical body right now, if you have a phone right now, if you're awake right now to see this in the daytime, you're human. You know? And I literally had to say that. Some people may think that's really weird that I said that randomly, but I just had to say that. Probably more so than anything else in the video. But, okay. So, Salvador actually was so mad at everything, and he became the antimatter spirit through aligning with the thoughts in his head, and it became his feelings, which we are. We actually are the feelings we feel. And he lost everything. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, with Salvador Ramos, that's an extreme and very rapid evolving and developing, blossoming case of demonic possession. So, how does that tie to what I'm talking about in this video and the war that I'm speaking of? So the reason the war is being fought right now is because the antimatter spirit with its one will is literally taking hold of so many people, and it's literally infiltrated the military to the point where they've done the same thing so much every day. It's even predicted what the military is going to do. And they think they're so smart that they think nobody is able to predict what we're going to do because we're so hidden. And it's literally not that, because literally the antimatter spirit with its one will is literally so knowing. It's literally just as knowing as God itself of all possibilities. Because it's all possibilities of all fucked up possibilities or all bad possibilities. Because God is all good possibilities, and now all bad possibilities have literally been birthed. And this isn't something that that has been birthed by me saying that right now, but it's something that's been birthed with us acting as a whole and just the way we have structured life. So literally we're going to have to structure life differently to solve this war, or we're literally going to be at war with every single person that we see. You know, if it's not a verbal war, it's going to be a physical war or a spiritual war. So, you know, it's a reason that so many families fight and break up. It's a reason that people kill their family. It's a reason that people torture their family. It's a reason that people talk about their family. It's a reason that people gossip about their family. Because we're all family. But even the biological ones sometimes treat you the worst, and the ones that don't know you at all may treat you the best. And you may say, damn, that's fucked up, but true. And that's part of life. Because I told y'all, we are literally in the body of Satan. Y'all keep saying we are in the body of Jesus. It's not fucking Jesus, bro. Stop worshiping a motherfucker that was fucking possessed, bro. That was telling people to worship him. He's a bitch-ass nigga, bro. That's all that means. If anybody tells you to worship them, they are a bitch-ass nigga. Fuck you. And that's how I always feel. So, we want to essentially restructure the earth and stop all physical warfare. That's the key. No physical warfare right now. If we don't do physical warfare, we won't go into a war as an entire planet. If we keep the physical warfare like we're doing in the streets and in the militaries between the nations, which are split but should really all be one, we're going to live in a literal hell, and we're literally going to need to walk with 2 M4s and fucking missiles. We're going to need to be so strong to carry all the weapons we need to literally go to the fucking store to get food because we haven't ate in a week, and the pipes don't work. We can't even flush the fucking toilets. Okay? And y'all think I'm overreacting, but I'm just trying to let y'all know what the fuck is about to happen. So y'all think this is just a fucking game. I don't know how I can make this more clear to y'all. Okay? So y'all need to talk to the state government, the police station. We all need to come together and say, get rid of every single fucking gun. All the police's guns, all the streets guns. None of them need to be here. They all need to be disposed of and repurposed to restructure this world. So, if we keep fighting, we're literally going to be aligning with the antimatter spirit's will no matter what. If we keep conflicting and keep separation, we're going to keep aligning with the antimatter's will no matter what. And I guarantee it. And it will be the worst thing to ever happen to our world. Okay? Tears do not describe what words cannot convey. That experience has not taught us will come. Because y'all try to say that there's nothing new under the sun. And everything's new under the sun. It's flip-flopped. And a lot of the shit we've been taught is flip-flopped. Just like I told y'all, the 7th position in between the 6 and 8 And the ninth position in between the 8 and what's the 10 or the 0 or the 1 again. It's actually flip-flopped. So the 7 symbol, which is like this, is actually in the ninth position, and it goes 6, 9. It goes 6, 9. But they actually have a 9 going that way. But it's really 6, 9. 6, 9, like a telephone, a never-ending telephone. And the 7 is actually like a H with parallel lines on top. So a rectangle with a perfect square inside. But it's really symbolic of the 7 that's currently like a upside down L. So what I'm trying to say, there's literally a will out there that wants us to all be at war no matter what we do. It wants us to look at each other as enemies, and essentially, you already know what I'm about to say. It wants us to eventually kill each other. And some people are giving into that will and saying, that's me. I'm doing it now. I want to do that. But it's not you. I'm here to say that's not you. You are good. No matter what you feel, just know. We're the ones to bring peace. We're the ones to heal. So, I got one little burial. So, just remember that. And a lot of people are going to feel any type of way about that, because literally the antimatter spirit will come up with any reason to do what it's trying to do to get everybody literally on the same page. But we're not supposed to be on the same page, because we're all individual spirits with our own mind, and we're supposed to work together to heal the world. We're individual spirits working as one with our own individual perception and our own individual percentage points. The thing with the antimatter spirit, it has one will, but it can look like anything. So you have to know what it feels like. It could literally look like your biological mother. It could look like your brother. It could look like your sister. It could look like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. It could look like the ugliest thing you've ever seen. It could look like your worst fear that you've never known possible to be afraid of. You've never known something to exist that could make you that scared. You felt like being tortured for the moment you're born, in as long as they keep you alive, and being tortured up to this point would probably have been better than just experiencing that 5 minutes. Yeah, so all right, y'all, my bad. I got a text I had to answer, so I had to flip over to the other app and it closed the video, because it's a pre-recorded video. But where was I? So the antimatter spirit basically will, it has one will, and once you know what that feels like, if it feels like, if it feels like the space changes to a dangerous space, whereas once it was a more peaceful space, so you have to be aware of the present moment fully, for lack of a better terms, because words are really just empty pieces of shit that don't matter. The words are really nothing, is all I'm trying to say. And it really matters the energy or the will, the intention. So that's what we need to know to focus on right now. It's no reason to act out of character, but it's reason to follow yourself to the utmost ability. Don't listen to anybody else but you in your perception, because somebody else is wrong all the time. You always know better. So take from this what you need, and if you see parts of yourself in this, let it be everything that you needed to see to know everything is all good. We don't have to fight. We don't have to kill. It's not a way for power. It's just a way to more pain, because pain is not power. Pain is just a very long and hard-earned lesson. But it's not the way it has to be, because everything is just in everything. Things can literally be easy. It could be easy, and you know that. So we have to bring peace and unify as one world and become one whole government. Everybody has to be a part of the government. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to have a say in everybody's the president. Bitch. I got a newborn, 2 minutes old. Oh, she the president too. If she could talk and say, wait, and we can understand to be like, yo, oh, hold on, that makes sense. Yo, we got to do this and that. You know what I'm saying? We literally have to do that just because a 2-minute-old newborn literally just spoke for the first time and said it. Why not? If it makes sense. So, the best thing right now would be to stay on the spiritual path. You got to know yourself, go within, get out in nature, earth walk. You want to touch the earth with your bare skin. You want to get naked as much as possible. You actually want to abstain from having as much sex as you can possibly have, because a lot of people are just trying to cope with all these energies in the world and the deep, dark feeling at night through sex. And that's literally a way to get other people's demons in your body that are harmful. You know what I'm saying? We want the helpful demons, the healing demons, because everything's a demon, but there's healing demons that are angels. You know what I'm saying? They know they're demons. They'll tell you, I'm a demon, bitch. But bing, I can do that too. And that's just the way it is. So this is the energy we need to bring and have towards people acting out of character. If you feel like something is off by the way something's acting, you gotta check them. You have to. This is the point of check yourself, or we're all gonna be motherfucking wrecked. And you ain't gonna recognize this world. When I get out of this car and show y'all this park, if we were to actually start a war that they think we're gonna have to start with mobilizing every single person possible, not just mobilizing the people that volunteer, mobilizing every single person in the damn world that is possible, physically fit enough, or can be made to be fit enough. They don't give a fuck if you're fit enough. They'll make you fit enough these days, because they know how to GMO shit powerful enough to literally damn near instantly inject you with something and make you strong, or heal your osteoporosis, and if they need to, if you know what I'm saying. But you have to have the will, because if they do that and your will is off and they can't tell that, and they make you super powered off of an injection that speeds things up for you, it'll literally create what would be a supervillain. So, and the people who have this power to make you this way, through whatever process that it has to go through, they know how to read enough with this information. They know how to read a personal space. So, what's the best thing to take from this after all this is to know that it's no need for any more wars. And if we start another war, we're just ending the world as it is. And there's no other place to actually get another world like this. Because everywhere and anything is everything. Everywhere is a new place. Everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. So why can't we just live our life without having to worry? We can literally do anything. All things are possible. Just remember that, y'all. So look at this. This is so beautiful. There was so many people here the other day. I couldn't come though. I was busy. So here's the story of what happened last night to give me an example of how to handle when you feel a physical antimatter spirit body around you, or you see it around you. Because you have to be adept to be able to catch it in its movement, because it can literally sense everything about you once it locks on you. You know what I'm saying? It literally can read it reads everything about your perception. It literally seizes you. So even though it's in a different space, it literally perceives every experience you experience, and that's how it aligns with you and gets you to do its bidding of the one will of the many bodies. So, last night, if you know on your spiritual path, the heart chakra can feel space, because it is space and all that shit. So when you feel space, the best thing is to feel out as far as possible. Remember, the world is infinite, so you need to feel space infinitely growingly, because it's always growing. That's why everywhere's a new place, because it's always growing. Yeah, Twiggy. So since we have this knowledge, they've manifested, because we actually know how to manifest bodies instantly, believe it or not. Pretty cool. But basically, last night I got a deep, dark death feeling. Best way to describe it. And recently I've been noticing like some shadow movement outside my window, and it's something that moves relatively quickly, and it seems to move intuitively as to when I pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? If you're keen to your senses, you know that's true. So one thing happened in my intuition, in my heart, that was telling me to turn off all the lights and treat the physical body that you're about to see as a T-Rex. Whereas, they said when you're in the presence of a T-Rex, you want to be completely still. You want to feel like you can't even breathe. You have to breathe that slowly and still. You don't want to and hyperventilate, because they can hear that and they can feel that energy and lock on immediately, because it's fear. So it has to be like that. And so I felt it coming. You know what I'm saying? It almost felt like I could see through the wall and feel it there, because like it literally felt like, not even something just hated me, but that something was the death of me. You know, people may have different conspiracies about what that is, but be careful falling into that conspiracy theory stuff, because everything's real. You know what I'm saying? Even fake shit is actually real in different percentages. So when I saw this shadow moving, it was moving like it looked like Kirby was like doing like a shuffle, like that. It looked like Kirby was doing a shuffle, and it only stood about 3 feet tall, like 2.75 yards tall, and it moved so quickly and intuitively, like it could see me seeing its shadow. So I'm waiting by the window in my room, and the only feeling I'm really experiencing is treat that as a T-Rex, or you won't like what happens, and you may be one of the first people to have some very messed up stuff happen to you that nobody knows how to explain. So in feeling all that, I said, okay. I went to go tell my roommate to, cut the TV off, and she didn't really make a question of it. She just said, just mute it. But I said, oh no, the light. And she said, okay, just cut it off right now. I'm going to sleep anyway. And, just remember, everything's perfect at the perfect time. So I realized that, she was actually very tired and about to fall asleep, and she wasn't about to make a sound. So I didn't have to tell her to, she was going to be so tired she wouldn't actually be able to hear anything to perceive it, to react. Because that's the key. You don't want to react when these physical antimatter spirit bodies manifest around you through negative energy portals. So, one thing you want to do is just remember good vibes. So I saw the antimatter spirit moving. It was only like about 2.75 yards tall. 2.75 feet, 3 feet. I said yards earlier, but I meant, as in terms of a yard, 2.75 of that. You know what I'm saying? So 2.75 feet, because a yard is about 3 feet. So, I was looking at the window, and it moved right into my line of sight as I looked at the window, instead of me trying to look at it before. It literally moved into my line of sight when I went to look out the window, because I heard like a car horn or something in the distance. So I just kind of looked, and then something said whoop, and I was like, what is it? In my mind, but I didn't say anything. I was silent. I was like, just like that. And I saw the shadow shift positions and turn. So, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't making any sounds at first, but it went to try to wait and hide behind the brick in the corner of my apartment. And when it did that, because I sleep in that area with my bed up against the wall, it literally was able to manifest an antimatter portal through what it considers its dream world to basically birth itself as a non-physical entity or what people would consider a ghost, into the apartment. So it literally, like, it looked like it ethered through the wall or gassed through the wall, like how when the heat is really hot, it goes like wavy up and it's like clear, but it's just the texture of the space that changes. So you need to start paying attention to textures in space. So when it came through the wall, you know what I'm saying? I saw it take physical form in a split instant, and then, cloak itself as invisible. But I could still feel its energy in the room as stronger because it actually manifested its physical body, but just cloaked itself, simultaneously. And then when it did that, it began probing. Because literally when an antimatter spirit bursts itself in this world, they only have 2 senses. They can only have 2 senses. Physically. One of the 5. In 2 ways. The regular way, the earth way, and the antimatter way. Soul way and the no soul way. Demon way and angel way. So I already explained how that works, you know what I'm saying? It's just different polarities. It's coded literally the opposite. So it'd be a good thing to punch your mother in the stomach to wake her up, with a pile of shit in your hand, to smack her in the nose and to say, eat this, you stupid bitch, wake the fuck up. But like, that's like literally the energy that they carry. So like, but we would say, hey ma, wake up, I got you some breakfast. So let's see, looking for my slides. Well, a fun way to test yourself is to have somebody hide something for you and you have to find it yourself without them telling you where it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell them not to make it too hard. You know what I'm saying? Don't troll people, because this is literally a serious thing. This isn't comedy shit. This is literally like spiritual shit, which is more serious than even your physical body. So check yourself. When it ethered through the wall, it essentially started probing. So what it was doing, it couldn't see, it couldn't taste, it could smell, and it could speak. It could smell and speak, but nothing else last night when it burnt itself in the apartment. And I had already turned all the lights off, and everything was silent. Nothing was on, you know what I'm saying? No lights on, pitch black, because it needed to be. So what it was doing, what it does with its 2 senses, it essentially tries to lock on to like your thoughts or like your feelings and your actions. So what that means is it'll try to do things or say things if it's possible to make you react in a predictable way. So what this means is we need to basically do new things, realize everywhere's a new place, and everything. essentially aligns itself. When it came through the wall, either through the wall and manifested its physical body, it began slowly, like, what felt like, slowly feeling out each area and space in the house. So, as I said, it could speak and it could smell. So, if you know from watching my channel, I smoke weed. So it knows that I would potentially smell like weed. Or if there's some weed, it would potentially be my energy, because it has put together that knowledge. So I heard, but not from the direction you would think it would come from, because I was facing the window where I saw the shadow move. And when I saw that shadow move and come in the wall, it had been there before. So it actually knew my name. It said, Clyde, I'm here. And I saw it move in front of my face. I saw it move on my bed. If they get keen enough on your energy, they can literally produce a physical touch where they can move something in the house, in the apartment, or they can become physical bodies completely, instead of just non-physical spiritual entities. That's why this is really important. So one of the best things to do is, when you feel that energy, 99% of people are going to feel from this video up to this point, is literally the energy that you would need to treat as a T-Rex looking at you. So, but remember this key tip. The deeper in a polarity you go, away from neutrality, the more they can lock onto you. And that's why they're here, because for us, the less we go into neutrality, the more the polar shifts mess us up. But they literally work off of the polar shifts. So that means somebody who's, this isn't to play into any racial terms or anything like that, but that means somebody who is of an extremely pale skin color, because none of this really matters. But people who are of an extremely pale skin color are, their brightest day to the antimatter spirit once the moon is fully in the sky in your geographical location. So that's to say that any white or black feeling energy is actually the world of the antimatter spirit. So that is how they actually perceive the world, is through the two extremes of too much good and too much bad. And it's both together in their body as one will, through many bodies. So it actually said my name under its breath, because it was so silent, because something was telling me I had to be silent enough to be able to hear somebody speak under their breath, like they're trying to creep up on me, but they can't see me where I am. You know what I'm saying? So it said, my name, and said I'm here. And then it began creeping around the room. And I literally had no choice but to just remain completely silent. Because it could speak and it could smell. And the thing is, my breath smelled like weed, because I smoked a lot of weed that day. And I was smoking blunts. And blunts, or tobacco is literally antimatter weed. And weed is earth weed. So, key. You know what I'm saying? For people who are trying to flip-flop, or like, ghost themselves, you know what I'm saying, go stealth. It'd be cool to smoke a cig, maybe. It'd be cool to smoke just weed. Maybe you need a spliff. You know what I'm saying? Don't judge it just because you've had a different upbringing or, you're scared. It's just the way things are. So don't slip up because you should have did something that you knew you wanted to do no matter what you felt at the time. Because we always know what we have to do at the time, but we don't always do it. That's the key. So it snuck in through the wall. And it began moving. I was hearing it move at different times. But everybody was silent because my roommate was so tired. She fell right asleep. And I fell asleep. I didn't fall asleep. She fell asleep. And I was standing still. Because I couldn't lay in bed because I was so tired. If I did fall asleep, I knew its intention and its one will was to have me fall asleep last night so it could lock me in a coma nightmare and make it hard for me to step out of it. Because that's one of its best powers. It can literally lock you in a coma nightmare and break your will to do its bidding. And the only way to wake up in a coma nightmare is to literally, you gotta feel like you're gonna kill yourself. You gotta feel like you're killing yourself in the dream. So that's like to say, if it's like sleep paralysis, but you literally have to sit up through the sleep paralysis, and it feels like you're about to break your neck because your head's glued to the bed and you're paralyzed. So it literally be like unparalyzing yourself and doing a sit up with no help, and you're paralyzed. It sounds crazy, but you can do it because I've been in a coma before, and I was very much lucidly, astral traveling, awake in a nightmare, and I had to get out. I was dying. They was about to pull the plug because it was too much money. And I woke up literally seconds before they were reaching for the plug. And I told them crazy things. They were like, what? He's brain damage. No, it's just part of the world, baby. So, then it began doing something that I used to do as a kid, which is what I coined as clucking, or like, clicking your tongue, like. So, and then it would literally go like, just so softly, ever so often, for about 5 minutes. It was doing that in different spots around the room. It even did it right up to my ear. And I literally felt like at that point when it began to want to will to creep up to my ear, it was like crunch time in the overtime, like, 5 overtimes in, down 3 at the free throw line with 1 shot and 2 seconds left. Type shit. So then that's for the championship of a year-long journey for all the marbles and all the money you need for the next year. And you ain't getting paid if you don't win. So that type of life. It crept through the apartment and was trying to make sounds to make me react in a predictable way, because it wanted me to be like, huh, or what's that, or who's there, it wanted me to turn up and get mad at it with anger so it could feel my negative emotion and really lock on to my energy and my will to make me do its bidding, but I wouldn't do it. So it even went to it passed through me and then went out the door, and then it went to down the hall and literally went through every square inch of the house, every square inch of the apartment. It went through, and it was making sounds, that we could not react to, or it would literally lock onto our will and be able to predict what we're gonna do eventually. This is just the analysis of last night as a spiritual a war situation. That would have eventually turned physical to something where it would have harmed who knows how many people. So, what I'm saying? Even one person harmed is too many, even if it's the person that harms themselves. So, the cool thing is, anytime you have knowledge, anytime you are a person of strong will, strength, you have knowledge. So you're able to do whatever all possibilities is. I gotta keep moving, yeah. Sorry. But the best thing to take from this is really the end of the experience of last night. So last night, after the what felt like the smoke cleared of a smoke screen of everything I've been explaining, it was about an hour past, and it felt like 10 minutes went by, no lie. So an hour passed, and we were walking. Hold on, y'all. Put this phone down for 1 second. All right, y'all. Inner child is super key. Just remember that. So remember to basically always know what the things you're perceiving are. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to be aware of what you hear. Always want to be aware of what you see. If you see, what I'm saying, when things are weird, or they're really they're not normal. They're not of this world. You know that. So, or when things are harmful, they're not beneficial. It can be talked about all the time to say when things are harmful or beneficial. They never need to turn physical. That's key. Nothing needs to turn physical right now. We do not need to physically altercate with each other. We do not need to physically interact in a harmful way. It's okay to hug. It's okay to kiss. It's okay to have sex. But it has to be with somebody of good spirits. It can't be with somebody who, is doing what would be harmful things in the world. Because then they're putting their harmful, non-physical energies in you and making you do harmful things through aligning with them through 50% sex. So then my roommate, we shot up, out of what was, felt like a dead sleep. And she said, I have to go outside. And then she was making excuses to say to leave the door open for her while she goes outside and waits in the car. But she's taking her keys and her phone. She wants me to give her 2 pillows and a blanket. So I give her all that, and I walk her outside, like I know I should. And she literally warns me. She says if you don't feel comfortable with me being outside all night, just barricade the door. And then in the same breath, she also said, I'll text you if I need to come in. And that's all I needed to know, is that she said she was going to text me. So she went outside, and I went back in to grab her the blankets and the pillows. And she got in the car, and I went back inside. And when I did that, the air sort of took a turn with the tension and eased up a little bit. But then it picked back up. But when it picked up, the energy changed, and it started talking to me to say, without words, to say, you can actually lay down and go to sleep. So I actually became so tired that I could fall asleep. Whereas before, I was tired, but everything in me knew not to fall asleep. And because of that, I wasn't tired anymore, but all of a sudden I was sleepy where I felt like I could sleep 12 hours. So pay attention to your feelings, intuition. Use it as your actions, which is your instincts. So you have to, so then what happened, I laid down, and then I couldn't fall asleep, even though I was so tired. And I was getting texts that said, she was just trying to remind me of what she said before she walked out to the car. And I just said, okay, I'm right here, just text me if you want to come in. And so I'm laying there, and I can't fall asleep, but I also hear somebody what sounds like talking in a different style voice that I'm used to hearing from this type of aura energy. But, I knew it was my roommate. And it sounded like, she was talking to some female. And, she was a man. But a man with a gravelly voice that had detuned tonality to it for some reason. I guess that would make sense. It would not make sense to explain it in that way until you hear it, but it literally makes sense once you hear it. It's crazy. So, and then I heard taps on the window, just so silent that if I was actually sleeping after the 2 hours she had been outside, where I had texted her and said, "Are you okay?" and she didn't answer and turned her notifications on silent, she tapped twice, and then she said the same name, Clyde, in the same way. Dog knows. He's like, yo, another one, different dog. So then a minute goes, hey guys. Then a minute goes by, and then I hear another tap. And these taps sound like it's coming from a metal alloy, almost like a tip of a knife, like, you know. And when it was saying these voices, it's like it had similar energy to, you know, what I know from my roommate. But then again, it felt so different that it felt like the body of my roommate wanted to do things that I had never even possibly imagined they could even want to do. You know, like, let alone do things that you don't want to do, but, you know, literally have a burning desire to do things that you may feel are so harmful that they wouldn't even have to exist. But they do. It's crazy. So then we need to and then the thing is, I was wondering the whole time, you know, if this is really my roommate standing right there, why shouldn't she just text me and say, you know, I'm ready to come in, can you lock the door? Or just say, can you lock the door? You know, why don't they try to wake me up? You know, with a call or something. Or if the phone dead, why don't they just knock harder on the window so they know I can wake up and keep doing it if it's that important. But hey, I'm not everybody. I can't make decisions for everybody. I'm a body and a body with a body. So essentially, y'all would know, you know, of course, during the daytime like this, the earth spirit wins out, and the nighttime, the antimatter spirit wins out. But just remember, everywhere's a new place. So sometimes, literally, you know, the antimatter spirit will win out during this time of daytime, and the earth spirit will win out during nighttime. And that'll be the days that you may feel like an insomniac, or somebody who can't sleep consistently at the same time, being predictable as a sleeper. Why do you think they've been forcing us to be predictable as a sleeper? And literally, there's an actual Freddy Krueger style spirit that has ability to manifest a physical body that looks like anything. It could look like a quarter that you just pick up off the floor. I'm not kidding. It could look like a pebble. This shit's real. So, when I heard those things, and the person that was tapping on my window went away, and I had no messages from anybody, you know, I knew that meant that was kind of like a safe action, or a safe word, you know, a safe phrase to say, you know, if everything's all right and nothing's actually influencing you, text me. That was what I said without words, and what she said she would do. You have to be able to read these things. What do people say without words, and is it harmful or beneficial? So the cool part about having the knowledge that you gained from this video, you'll have the upper hand as things take this shift, because really the first real shift happened last night. And that's why I'm one of the first people to be able to relay these jewels to everybody. So I'm gonna be sending this out to people and let y'all know, anything y'all need that I can give, I will give. Anything I can't, you can find it in another place. Just as easy. So, it is what it is. And then one other thing with the experience I had last night, she stayed outside the whole time with 2 pillows and a blanket in the car. And at one point, I heard the horn. You know what I'm saying? I heard her car horn, like she accidentally pressed it and she didn't mean to. And when she did that, that's when she started saying things that I know my roommate didn't have the ability to say as long as I've known her. Pronouncing things where it sounded like it wasn't, sounds we've been taught, as to say, it literally took a different type of organ than a vocal cord to pronounce it. That would be used to speak. So, it's like they have, a different type of larynx or voice box. Along with, they can have a voice box too. Remember, y'all, yin and yang, everything's in everything. Nothing's in everything. So yeah, it's important to know, to be able to read in between the lines when you're interacting with other bodies or beings, to understand how to keep yourself safe these days. Because, anybody can be tricked, because all possibilities. Just like anybody can live forever too, because all possibilities. And I heard her speaking these weird things in the car after she I guess adjusted something to hit the horn accidentally, because I knew for a fact it felt accidental to that loud horn, and it happened accidentally because it was God trying to bring my attention to that car, so I could realize what's happening. And after all that happened, that's when I got the knock on my window. 3 knocks, and I heard the voice. And I've also seen my roommate speak with the same voice and say my name the same way to my face. So, many times you think you know, but you don't know until you feel. So stop thinking to know, feel to know. That's what's key to get through the rest of our lives into immortality. Feel to know. It's a lot of death in space. And you think it'd be 50-50, but it's actually more life. 4951. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. When I woke up after falling asleep after not getting a text, because that was the safe code to say that she wanted to come in, because I got a supernatural, intuitive, lucid dream to say that when I get that feeling to actually barricade the door so that it literally makes the loudest noise possible to actually open, and it's damn near impossible to open, do it. So I did it. And the first time I did it, there was a knock so loud on that door, it broke the hinges. And even the landlord, was furious. Bright red, tearing up, just because of the cost it costed to actually fix the door and the hinges, and the damage to the structure it actually caused when the hit happened. And they couldn't figure out how the hit actually happened, because there was no fingerprints or footsteps that linked the person to actually hitting our door and leaving. There was no DNA evidence of a human person anywhere at that time of the actual, what was physical damage to the structure of our building. And even the glass in the front window was broken, but there was no DNA on the glass, no metal alloys on the glass, no baseball scratches, no tethers from the baseball threads. It was almost like nothing broke it in the eyes of the whatever you want to call it, the autopsy or the investigation. So that's to say that I followed what felt like a nonsense, intuitive feeling, and we all know intuitive feelings feel truer than we are itself. But because I felt this truth in my spirit that I know is the truth of my feelings, I actually was able to convert it into instincts or action. And I was able to follow the protocol or direction that I knew my spirit needed to go to actually save my life that night. Because it was apparent to me in the feelings that my life was in danger. We all know when our life is in danger and what to do to fix it. Because there's always a fix to everything. Because everything exists in everything, yin and yang. So there's a problem with everything too. So you have to know how to look at the world we exist in and not get lost. You have to be able to see 100% of the world in the perspective of what we are. Don't break your ankles on the rocks. Wonder what that is. Whoa, little Debbie right there. Let's see, is there anything else I need to go over? I'm thinking we can wrap this up right here. So just to wrap this up, what y'all been listening to in this second half when it skipped, this was the explanation of the experience I had last night with an antimatter non-physical spirit probe that was actually, very skilled. So it took a lot of, focus and surrender and relinquishment to be able to actually keep my what felt like sanity last night, but it was no mental health crisis. The thing we are actually dealing with in terms to what I'm speaking of is otherworldly crisis. This is actually a global thing because this has been present ever since we actually said that the world was going to end in 2012. Literally. It's been proven to me in a dream through re-experience that once New Year's hit midnight as of 2012, that's when no actual human had any desire to do anything harmful anymore. And for a while, you remember how peaceful it was because we all thought the world was going to end for real. Some of us. But after that, it's like everything was serene and like it was like heaven. Everyone's like, damn, the world, feel like the world ended, but it didn't. Dang, this shit crazy. Like the vibes, like people, everybody started getting real spiritual, and then the spiritual trend took over. So now it's time to realize what a trend really is. A trend is just the antimatter spirit trying to get the world to align with itself. It's a trend to start school in the morning. It's a trend to walk forward. Why do we never walk backwards like this? We constantly work out the front part of our legs and never work out the backs or the sides. My athletes know what I'm talking about. You have to do everything. So that's where this comes from. In order to not become possessed by the one will of the antimatter spirit, this is my last thing I'm going to say before wrapping this video up. You have to realize everywhere's a new place. And what that means is there are new things under the sun. And you need to trust the feeling that you get when you know to do something different. Everything does not need to be a routine. You don't have to do things at a certain time. Nobody has to do anything. So remember, anytime you feel anywhere out of place, you have to be real with yourself. Literally, feeling out of place is demonic possession. Believe it or not. Any lessening of feelings in the level of the amount of the positive feeling they give you in the change of feeling good, or of feeling what you want to feel, because whatever you want is what's key here. Whatever you want is what you need. Remember that wants are needs, not wants and needs. Wants are needs. True. So remember, if you have to do something weird, fuck it, what everybody thinks. Do that shit. Do that shit. For real. If you got to put on a pair of women's glasses for 5 minutes and walk into a room and get laughed at for a second, and you're not the person to normally do goofy shit to try to get laughs, or maybe that's so taboo in your friend group, you wouldn't even be able to step through that door again if you walked up there with those glasses on, or if you walked there with those whatever on. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to create something new under the sun, because that's constantly what we need to do. And it's constantly what we do. And the thing is, whether we like it or not, there's always something new. And there's always old. So the thing is, you don't want to get lost in the old when the new is always the best thing. Because we know from living here, we always want what's new. People would kill for what's new. New vibes. That's all that matters. So that's what it's gonna be. I love y'all, for real. And I hate everything. You know why? Because it fucked nothing up. And you know what? I love my life because of everything. And I'm not gonna judge anything about that or anybody else. I'm just gonna do what I need to do, no matter what it is. Even if it's drop my phone. Nah, gotcha. My name is Clyde, aka Artringo Zadell. Yeah.